I'm standing here in a camp for displaced people within Iraq, just 15 kilometers from Mosul. 2 weeks ago, this was the front line where the Iraqi forces were fighting ISIS, trying to drive them back. Now, in 2 weeks, a refugee camp has been built, tents erected, water sanitation, Oxfam's helped build, and we're now operating. Conditions here are reasonable. People are living with at least a modicum of dignity. What, of course, they want is to be able to go home. They fled here from Mosul, and as Mosul is being retaken, it will be Oxfam's job, along with others, to support them in their return home. What struck me most is people's fear. The fear of having lived under ISIS with all the atrocities that were committed, the fear of being caught up in the war now, and the fear of what their future holds. Their livelihoods have been destroyed. What Oxfam's got to do is help with immediate services now, and then help with the rebuilding of not only Mosul, but communities afterwards. I've seen Oxfam's got to respond and is responding to immediate needs: water, sanitation, education. And in the medium term, over the next few months, we've got to respond to their long-term needs and help them to rebuild their lives and live with safety and security. Just outside Mosul, at a camp for displaced people that Oxfam's supporting, we've installed water, sanitation. Camps simply didn't exist here 2 weeks ago. This is a part of the story of people being displaced as the Iraqi forces retake Mosul. Just on the edge of Mosul, 15 kilometers away, in an area that until a week or so ago was being fought over between ISIS and the Iraqi troops. My visit here is a tale of 3 different stories. One of them you can see behind me. It's the refugee camps for displaced people. Tens of thousands of people who fled Mosul are now being fed and watered by Oxfam, by international agencies. They're living with a modicum of dignity in camps that have been put together literally in a matter of a couple of weeks. Oxfam's running the water supply in this very camp. But beyond us, there are people who have begun to return home. Their homes have often been destroyed, their crops, their animals, their livelihoods lost. So another part of Oxfam's work is going to be to help them rebuild their lives. And then the third area is those areas still occupied by ISIS, gradually being retaken by the government, those people still suffering the terrible traumas of which I've heard from the people here in the camps. 2 years living in fear. Relatives being killed, homes being destroyed, the terror of living under ISIS. Certainly now, people I've been talking to still not knowing whether their relatives are safe and being scared to talk about what's going on in case there are still ISIS supporters around them.